The ripple in the pond. In a peaceful village surrounded by mountains, there was a serene pond that reflects the blue skies and green trees. The villagers often gathered near the pond to relax, chat, and find peace away from their daily struggles. One day, a young boy named Rohan came to the pond to throw a stone into it. As he threw the stone into the water, a small ripple formed, spreading outward in all directions. The ripple moved across the surface, creating a pattern of expanding circles. An old man who had been sitting nearby watched this with a smile. "Why do you throw stones into the pond?" he asked Rohan. Rohan, who had been doing this every day, shrugged. "I like watching the ripples form," he said. "It's fun to see how far they can spread." The old man smiled thoughtfully and replied, "The ripples you see are not just in the water, my boy. Even action, no matter how small, creates a ripple in the world around us." Rohan was curious. "What do you mean, sir?" The old man continued. "Think about this. This small act of throwing a stone in the pond may seem insignificant, but it creates a series of circles that keep expanding. In the same way, every kind gesture, every small good deed ripples out and touches others, creating an effect far beyond what we can see." Rohan thought about this for a moment and then asked, "But how can small actions make a big difference?" The old man nodded. "You see, Rohan, it's not always the big, grand gestures that change the world. It's the little things that accumulate over time, like the ripples in the pond, a smile to a stranger, a word of encouragement to someone who is struggling, or a helping hand when someone is in need. These small actions, repeated over time, can create a movement. You may never see the full impact, but trust that they make a difference." Rohan was deeply moved by the old man's words. He spent the rest of the afternoon sitting by the pond, contemplating the power of small actions. That day, he decided to start making small positive changes in his own life and in the lives of those around him. The next day, Rohan smiled at the villagers as he passed them. He helped an elderly woman carry her groceries, offered a kind word to a neighbor who seemed upset, and spent time listening to a friend who was going through a tough time. Over time, the village began to change. More and more villagers began to follow Rohan's example. Smiles became more frequent, helping hands were extended more often, and the overall atmosphere of the village became warmer and friendlier. One day, the old man returned to the pond and saw Rohan sitting by it, surrounded by other villagers. The old man smiled to her himself, knowing that the ripples Rohan had created had expanded beyond just the pond. Moral of this story: even the smallest actions, when done consistently and with sincerity, can create ripples of change that reach far and wide. One simple act of kindness or a good deed can begin a chain reaction that transforms lives.